Okay, so a brand new, powerful AI model just dropped, and it is sending a massive shockwave through the economy. It's raising some huge questions about the future of work as we know it. So let's dive in and break down what is really going on here.
This whole story kicks off with a company that, honestly, you've probably never even heard of. It's called Anthropic. While the big names are out there splashing cash on Super Bowl ads, Anthropic has been kind of flying under the radar. Well, that's all about to change.
Because just like that, everything changed. They launched their new model, Claude. And you gotta understand, this isn't just some small update, it's a huge leap forward. It's so good at complex coding that top-tier engineers are already letting it write their code for them. But here's the kicker. Coding is just the beginning. This model has its eyes on a much, much bigger prize.
And this is where the story gets absolutely wild. The moment Anthropic announced a new legal feature for Claude, the stock market just reacted. Instantly, we saw shares of huge, established companies like Thomson Reuters just nosedive. It was crazy. And it created this fascinating mystery. Why? Why did one little announcement spark such a massive panic?
Well, it all comes down to what one analyst called the market's seek and destroy mode. I mean, think about that phrase. It's aggressive, it's almost fearful. It's a reaction to what this new AI capability really means. So what exactly is in the crosshairs here? Knowledge work. Yep, Anthropic came right out and said their new model is for all enterprise and knowledge work. That's basically everyone in an office, right? Lawyers, accountants, analysts, you name it. They even specifically mentioned that Claude can now help build PowerPoints. Now, for the millions of us whose jobs pretty much revolve around making slide decks, that definitely gets your attention. You see, the market's logic was just incredibly brutal and simple. It went something like this. Step one, okay, this new AI can do really high-level analysis and write complicated code. Step two, hey, wait a minute, that's the entire business model for a lot of these big firms. And that leads to the really scary third step. Does this AI just make those companies obsolete? And that quote, man, it just perfectly captures the feeling in the air. The market wasn't just excited about AI, it was actively looking for who was going to get crushed by it. It was hunting for victims. And, this is a classic pattern we see in big tech booms, right? The hype builds and builds, and then investors start scrambling to figure out who's going to be left in the dust.
Okay, but hold on. Before we all run for the hills, it's really important to pump the brakes and look at the other side of the coin. There are some major complexities here that the market's initial panic attack might have completely missed.
So let's just ask the big question, right? Is this whole AI takeover of knowledge work really that straightforward? Is that first knee-jerk reaction from the market the whole story? I don't think so. Because you've got this split. On one side, there's all the hype, the rocket ship to total automation. But on the other side, you slam right into a brick wall of reality. For starters, these incredibly powerful tools, they're still really hard to use unless you're an engineer. And maybe even more importantly, think about a field like law. You have this massive question of liability. Who gets sued when the AI gives terrible advice? The AI can't take the fall, a human lawyer can. And that right there is a gigantic roadblock to full automation.
So, if it's not going to be some overnight wipeout, what does the future actually look like? And this is where things get really, really fascinating and honestly pretty uncertain, especially when we talk about the world of software. Let's make this real for a second. Think about a company like Booking.com. They are pouring tons of money into AI. But what happens when you can just say to your personal AI assistant, hey, plan and book my entire trip to Italy, and it just does it, completely skipping their website? See, that's the core dilemma. Even if AI doesn't completely destroy these companies, it could fundamentally disrupt their entire business model.
And that really brings us to this central, unanswered question of this whole new era. It's the question that has markets in a turmoil because, let's be honest, nobody, and I mean nobody, knows the answer yet. What is software in a world where AI is writing the code? I mean, this lays out the two completely different futures we could be heading towards. On one hand, you've got total disruption, a world where anyone can just build their own custom apps on the fly. But then there's the other side, the case for coexistence. Is it really plausible that every time you need to file an expense report, your company's going to spin up a brand new app just for you? Probably not, right? It seems likely that established software companies will still have a role to play. We just have no idea what it is yet.
So, with all this chaos and uncertainty, there's actually a historical framework that points to a much more optimistic path forward. It's this idea of a future built on collaboration, not replacement. Yeah, this concept, man and a machine, it's a powerful lesson from history. If you look back, time after time, from the printing press all the way to the personal computer, the biggest changes didn't come from replacing people. They came from augmenting their skills, making us better, faster, and smarter. And that suggests that AI is much more likely to be an incredibly powerful tool for us rather than a direct threat.
So what does that mean for us right now? Well, it's about using these tools to compete more effectively. Just imagine an analyst who's now armed with Claude, able to make way sharper, way more informed decisions. The goal isn't to replace the analyst, it's to supercharge their abilities. Because let's be realistic, we are a long, long way from an AI being able to handle the complex judgment and nuance needed for something like high-stakes financial modeling. And look, we have to keep some perspective here. Despite all the wild market swings and the dramatic headlines, we are at the very, very beginning of this journey. For all the mind-blowing progress, we are still in the absolute infancy of this technology. We're just starting to figure out what it even is, let alone what it's going to do to the world.
Which leaves us with the ultimate question, not just for the markets, but for all of us in our own careers. As this technology matures, what will it become? A powerful partner that elevates your work to new heights, or the tool that makes your job obsolete? The reality is, that answer is still being written.